What is going on, everyone? TomGorian here, and welcome to episode 8 of the F1 22 My Team Career Mode series with Carlin. Today we are here for the tight and twisty Hungarian Grand Prix here at the Hungaroring, and we enter this period of the season slowly but surely catching up on the midfield teams. As you can see, for the first time all series, we're actually starting to make some progress on the teams. We are ahead of Aston Martin, and we are ahead of also AlphaTauri and Williams, and we seem to be catching the other teams like McLaren and also Haas. Before we get started, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Can we get to 30 likes and also 600 subscribers? I'm trying to get to 600 subscribers. We're 48 subs away, so that will be massively appreciative. We've got some upgrades coming up. We've got a major chassis upgrade and 2 minor upgrades, and also the performance charts and the performance index. We're slowly climbing as we enter the final 6 races of this season. Obviously today we are doing Hungary. The next episode we are going to be doing Belgium. I had enough money to purchase the level 2 development feedback, which will help us massively, so now we can get 50% more of our resource point generation, which means we can upgrade more, and all we need to do now is get more cash so we can upgrade the specs to the point where we can get more upgrades. If you missed the last episode, I highly recommend that you check that out. Please go and check that out. That was a crazy episode, probably the craziest F1 22 My Team Career Mode series, Career Mode video that you will watch up until this point. It was a mental race, 4 safety cars, the sprint race was mental, the 50% race was mental. Yeah, just a mental episode. So go and watch it after you've watched this video, after you've liked and subscribed, and yeah, just make sure you go and watch that video. But here to talk about this video, and for this video's topic, we're going to be talking about the AI in this game. Obviously the race in the background, you know, you'll be seeing the qualifying and also the race, but most of this topic for today's race will be based on the AI and also their behavior and just the general speed as well, because I wouldn't say I've had enough, but it's getting concerning now to the point where it's starting to annoy me, as far as constantly redoing stuff, constantly readjusting things, and just being very annoyed and being pissed off from this AI. I mentioned in F1 2019 how the AI was very unaware as far as coming and spinning. Well, speaking of spinning, we are on our first run and we spin in towards the third sector, and that pretty much ruins our lap, but we go again, and as you can see we're green and we're going to complete this lap. But the AI, I mentioned on F1 2019 how the AI were completely unaware as far as you overtaking them and them leaving you room, and every single time you would make a move, no matter where you were on circuit, if you were behind them or ahead of them, they would close the door. As you can see, Lewis Hamilton has an engine failure in Hungary, and that's a massive surprise because, as we all know, Lewis Hamilton loves the circuit and he's won 8 times around the circuit, and to see him pretty much out of qualifying thanks to an engine failure, not the first time as well that Mercedes has DNF'd this season. But now we're going to enter qualifying. I believe Max Verstappen also retired because of an engine failure. I couldn't get that on the replays, unfortunately, and Nicholas Latifi as well. So 2 Mercedes and 1 Honda powered cars are out of Q1. And now all we need to do is make sure that we qualify in P15 to make Q2 for only the third or fourth time this season. So entering Sector 2 in towards the tight chicane. I had to take it in third gear, lose the back end there. I was struggling a little bit with the back end in towards Sector 2, especially with the high speed right-hander, especially in practice. I couldn't really pass the qualifying pace program, no matter how many times I did it. I tried different things. I tried changing the setup. I was running 47 wings for this race. I should have really went 50-50, but I didn't want to lose time on the main straight, because obviously downforce is everything around this track, and I just want to see how low you could go on the downforce. The car didn't feel that bad with 47 wings, but across the line we go, and we are out of Q1 for the first time. I do not know when. I want to say it's not Cheetah. I don't know when. I think it might be. Is it Cheetah? It might be Cheetah, you know. But as you can see in Q2, it's actually starting to rain, and I'm gonna hover. I'm gonna hover over Q2 because, you know, listen, it's the first season, and as long as we make it out of Q1, then that's all that matters. It doesn't really matter where we finish, as long as we end up out of Q1, that's what matters. But we're going to be starting in the top 10, because as you can see, it's raining, and in Q2, we got out very early, with less than 4 minutes in of the session, so obviously the track right now is better than what it's going to be in the next 5 or 6 minutes, and as you can see, Charles Leclerc there and Lando Norris try to get the laps in, but as you can see, Vettel in 7th, Ocon in 6th, Ricciardo P1 and Zhou Guanyu in P2 as well, and that is pretty much confirmed our position in Q3. We were 1.4 seconds behind, but it does not matter at all because we are through to Q3. Charles Leclerc just about made it into Q3 though for the championship leader though, and that's clutch. Charles Leclerc has been very clutch this season in real life, and he's also been clutch in the game. He has a mental lead in the championship. But as you can see, we are in our final run in Q3. And going around the final corner, it is intermediate conditions. We did one run and it was full wets, but nearing the end it was intermediates, and we were the last car to go out. And across the line we go. We're going to improve by 6 seconds, but as you'll see around about now, it is P10. So we didn't really gain any positions. Yeah, we just qualified P10 for the sake of qualifying it in P10. But yeah, I think this race will expose a lot about the player car, about what our car is like right now at this stage of the series, and where we need to go as far as upgrades and the direction for the second half of Season 1 and Season 2. But without further ado, let's get it. It's time for the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Welcome to Budapest once again for another round of Formula One action. Historically a good race for first victories, with Button, Hill, Alonso and Heikki Kovalainen all reaching the top step of the podium for the first time here. 14 corners then for our drivers to navigate at the 2.7 mile Hungaroring today. It's 6 lefts and 8 rights around a lap here, with average speeds in the region of 120 miles per hour. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Ocon, Fernando Alonso and Vettel, Thomas, Gasly, Norris and George Russell, Ricciardo, they've taken a grid penalty, Mick Schumacher, Alex Albon and Stroll, Joe, they'll be starting further back, an earlier grid penalty, Sainz, David Beckman and Yuki Tsunoda, Verstappen, they've taken a grid penalty, Magnussen and Nicholas Latifi. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. Natalie Pinkham, a lot of talented drivers out on the track today, but what will stand out for you?
My focus is 100% on the front of the grid. Like you said, we're seeing a lot of strong competition across those positions, so it'll be so interesting to see the fight for that front spot. Personally speaking, I'm hoping for plenty of overtakes.
Another disappointing qualifying for my teammate, David Beckman. He qualifies P17, and I don't know what I should do with David Beckman. Obviously, I've re-signed him for the rest of the season, but should I keep him for Season 2? I don't know if I should keep him for Season 2 and bring someone in if we have the resources or the money to bring a better driver in. I want to build David Beckman up, and I want to see what his potential is like as the series goes on, but the strategy is pretty much a one-stop. There's the confirmation that we're running 47 wings, and the tyre pressures, we're going to slowly put them down because the weather is cloudy and it's going to be more sunny, and obviously that generates more track temperature, a hotter surface, and of course a more responsive and more hotter tyre temperature. 0.5 laps of fuel. This car actually does very well on its fuel, so I don't think we should be touching the fuel as far as the fuel upgrades for this race. But we're in P10 right now. We're in a very good, well, actually it's P7 because of some grid penalties. So we are in P7. Alonso, Vettel, Gasly and Norris are around us. But the one thing I'm going to be talking about in today's video as I go to the race director, and there's confirmation, everyone is going to be on the medium tyres for the race. So everyone will be doing a one-stop from mediums to the hard tyres. So we get ready for the start of this Hungarian Grand Prix. We're in P7, and hopefully if we can keep up the momentum from the last race, we should score points. But getting ready for the Hungarian Grand Prix, it's 5 red lights. Lights out, away we go in Ogaro, and it's a good start there for Sebastian Vettel. He tries to slice through the middle of Fernando Alonso. Norris gets a good start. We've got to watch out for also a Gasly in the AlphaTauri, and also Lando Norris in the McLaren. In towards turn 1, we're going to go around the outside of Lando Norris. We're going to get the better traction and also the better speed in towards turn 2. And as you can see, the speed of the AI is just mental, and we can't really do a thing about it as we push Lando Norris wide, and we retain P7. As you can see, Fernando has made a couple of positions there in the start of this race, and he's in P4? I think he's in P4. No, Bottas, no, Alonso's actually in P3, so Fernando's had a great start in this race. We think about going down the inside of Sebastian Vettel, but no, there was no gap there. There's a yellow flag in this Sector 1. It's Lewis Hamilton. He is out! Hamilton's out of the Hungarian Grand Prix, and Mercedes' season is going from bad to worse in this F1 22 Carlin career mode. So not only has Lewis DNF'd from qualifying, but he's also DNF'd in the race. We're going to see what happens with Lewis Hamilton, but here's a replay of the start. Lights out, away we go. Charles Leclerc on pole position as per usual, gets a great start. He covers off Sergio Perez automatically in towards turn 1. Watch out for Fernando Alonso, who's going to go around the outside of Valtteri Bottas. He's already in P4 as his teammate is behind him, and Alonso gets the move down the hill in towards P2, but Leclerc leads with Perez in second. Alonso gets third place along with Bottas, Ocon, Vettel, Schumacher down in P12, Beckman as well. He's actually made a position, so he's in P18? No, P16, excuse me. But as you can see around about now, you're going to see what's happened with Lewis Hamilton, and wow, he hits Max Verstappen at the back. If you thought the drama from last season between Hamilton and Verstappen, if you thought that little rivalry was over, hell nah. Hamilton has it for Verstappen in this game, I'm honestly telling you. Hamilton retires from the Hungarian Grand Prix after just taking out Max Verstappen. He still hasn't forgiven him for Abu Dhabi and Saudi as well. Oh dear me. Hamilton. Mercedes' season has gone from bad to worse, and I think it's safe to say that Hamilton's chances of winning an 8th Formula 1 World title in this season of career mode are officially in the mud. Anyway, getting ready for the restart for this Hungarian Grand Prix. We were in P7, one of the faster cars are out. Verstappen also has damage, so I guess he's in the back of the grid. And we have to just warm up our tyres. Getting ready for the restart now. We're going to try and go the long way round of Sebastian Vettel as we are waiting, and we are going here in Hungary. And Vettel gets a clean start though, and I think that was the wrong choice to try and go around the outside of Vettel like that. And as you can see, Ricciardo is pretty much closed us up there, and he's going to try and go down the inside of us. We have to leave the room. And this is the point where I'm going to talk about the AI. Now, I want you guys who play this game, leave it down in the comments below. What are your thoughts on this AI? Tell me what difficulty you're playing on, and what are your experiences with this AI, because this AI is different to the AI on any previous games. So, I'm running 103, and I was thinking about, after the last race, go and check it out if you didn't, because spoiler alert, we finished on the podium, even though it was 4 stops and there was a bunch of crashes, a bunch of safety cars. We pretty much finished on the podium from 21st. So I'm thinking, okay, we should be going up in difficulty, But what I don't like about the AI in this game is the inconsistency, as far as not just track-to-track inconsistency, but, you know, the difference between 103, 104, 105, and 106. And it's not just me, but you can see other content creators, even the bigger ones, they're not running 110. I think Tom97, he's not even running 110. He's even said he can't even keep up, so he's running, like, what, 108, 107, so I like how it's much more difficult this year with the lower difficulties, but it's the behaviour that's my problem. And as you can see, Lando Norris, he tries to go round the outside in towards turn 4. We literally do a Max Verstappen on him. We just force him wide. We completely miss the apex there, and yeah, and Mick Schumacher is out. It wasn't because of that crash, but as you can see, Lando Norris. It actually was. I'm sorry. I do apologise for that, but getting ready for the restart once again in Hungary, and the second safety car, and we're back underway, and we're in P7. And as you can see, Ricciardo once again as we dive down the inside of George Russell, and yeah, that's not supposed to be in there. Well, actually, I left it in there. I left it in there because I just want you guys just to see how dumb the AI are. I mean, it doesn't matter what gap you go for or what corner you're gonna make. If they're close enough, as you can see once again, Ricciardo is gonna go around the outside, and it's simply because of how overpowered the AI are in a straight line. Even on a track like Hungary, where you have to run like max downforce, 47, 48 at the lowest, you see George Russell just going around the outside like that. Like, it's not just the Mercedes, it's also the McLaren, the Aston Martin, the Williams, all these other cars that have the Mercedes engines. They just, when they get past us, they just bolt off, and there's nothing I can do. Nothing I can do, but we're going to come home for our pit stop, one-stop strategy from the mediums to the hards. And yeah, we lose pretty much 2 seconds there. 4.7, it should have been a 2.5. For some reason, there's a problem in this game with the clutch. When you let it go and you go to the optimum rev limit, you let it go, it doesn't register, so you have to keep on clicking and clicking and clicking, and it takes, like you saw there, 2 seconds. And we tried to undercut Vettel, Stroll, as you can see, Albon and Stroll are in the pit lane, and there is Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll is ahead of us. So the undercut that we just tried to do has epically failed, and it's cost us the position, and we're not going to score points in this race. And as you can see, there is Zhou Guanyu. He's on cold mediums, but obviously that Ferrari engine, probably the best engine of this grid, he's going to get past us as Valtteri Bottas, his teammate, retires from a engine failure. I couldn't get the replay up, unfortunately, but exiting turn 3, we get a good switcheroo. And as you can see, even we're using all of our ERS, and we still can't breeze past them like the AI would breeze past us. But yeah, I'm just going to talk about my experiences with the AI. It doesn't matter how close they are. Like, I mean, even here, as you can see around about now, Ricciardo just goes for it. And I have to leave him room, because if I don't, I make contact with him and I get damage to my floor or my side pods or my wing, and it's just one of those things where you always have to pretty much be defensive, even if you don't want to be defensive with the AI. They always force you to go defensive. And as you can see, race director, everyone of the top 13 has made the stops from this mediums to the hards, and that's pretty much confirmed that we are no longer in the points, and the undercut has epically failed. Lando Norris was a pain in the ass in this race, and as we make a mistake, just lose the back end there, just a little bit of frustration with the AI. Zhou Guanyu gets us, and as you can see, Lando Norris, it's pretty much a bit of a drag race. We even have DRS, and as you can see in this drag race, we're not even closing in. He's extending the gap between us, and we have to we pretty much have to, you know, dive down the inside, what they do to us, to pretty much get that position. But all this fighting is losing his time to the top 12. Norris tries to squeeze out there, but we force him wide, and we just pretty much let Beckman go through, because I want to see Beckman score points. I want Beckman to do well in this series, and he hasn't been doing well because our team has been putting him on ridiculous strategies, and even when he's been on the pace, he hasn't scored points. As you can see, once again, lap 31, where we force Latifi to go the long way round. And at this point of the race, I was just pissed. Pissed at the AI, pissed at my overall race pace. Tsunoda tries to go around the outside, but we say no, and we force him out wide, and there's contact between him and Latifi, and that will bring out... Well, actually, that's not the reason why a safety car is out around about in the next 5 seconds or so. Yeah, Nicholas Latifi's out, but Carlos Sainz is also out of this race. Carlos Sainz has an engine failure, another engine failure for Ferrari in this race, and Charles Leclerc is walking away with this championship, and he's not even trying at this point, but the safety car was pointless. It only lasted 2 laps, and we couldn't even catch up to the field, and before you know it, green flags, we're back on the way for this race. But as you can see, this race actually heating up. We've got the top 5, we've got Sergio, Charles, Max, George, and Kevin Magnussen, even with Fernando Alonso as well, all fighting for a podium. But yeah, this part of the race is going to be very interesting here on out. And as you can see, here's Max Verstappen going to try and go down the inside, or try and make the corner. He locks up there, he goes a little bit wide, and he clatters into Kevin Magnussen. And for the Haas driver, that's another annoying thing there. Also with the AI, they make far too many mistakes. They go far too wide, and I mean, I do like it, but it's getting to the point where they just do it too much, and they just need to slowly but surely just tone it down in a patch or two, where they keep on making mistakes, but it's not as it's not as frequent as you usually see it. But on to the last lap, and as you can see, Sergio Perez has held off Charles Leclerc. He's won in Miami. It's been Charles Leclerc's season so far. Max Verstappen hasn't had any good luck so far in the season, apart from Silverstone. But Sergio Perez wins the Hungarian Grand Prix, and Charles Leclerc extends his lead at the top of the championship. George Russell gets another podium after winning in Austria, and for me, it's a downgrade. It's a downgrade. It's a frustrating race. From P7 on the grid to a lonely P13.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
There'll be smiles at the factory after that one. A great race and a real team performance to take victory here in Hungary. Napoli Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Staying out of trouble was probably the most important factor here. In a race where half the field weren't classified at the checkered flag, you were able to guarantee a good result by keeping the car running. With their pace and a decent strategy as well, I don't think the race was ever really in doubt.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They've performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone on the team.
It's Sergio's second win of this season. George Russell on the podium, and Charles Leclerc once again on the podium extends his lead at the top of the championship. But hopefully the problem has been talked about in today's video. As far as the AI, they're still too powerful as far as traction and straight line speed, and just the awareness. That's the main problem. The racecraft, they just dive bomb you every single corner. No matter what corner it is on the racetrack, they always dive it down the inside unless you go to fully defensive. Even if you leave the tightest of gaps, they still go for the moves, and it's just very annoying when you're like me, you're trying to compete for a lower top 10 finish, and you just have guys like Lando and, Yuki and Pierre just diving down your inside, left, right and centre. And especially on a track like this where you have to use your ERS, and it's very hard to regenerate the ERS, and you're just forced to defend every single time. But yeah, hopefully the AI, they need to get patched in the next couple of weeks, otherwise it might hurt this series. But that's that for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Leave down in the comments what your experiences are with the AI. Please like the video, comment, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.